Let's complete the Chapter 6 context of the organization with quality management system and its processes. The ISO 9001, to be particular 2050 current version standard, employs the process approach in order to enable the organization to effectively plan its processes and their interactions. The effectiveness of an organization depends much on its ability to perform several interconnected activities simultaneously in order to achieve intended results and the expectations of the interested parties. Before we start, it's important to clarify related terms and definitions from ISO 9001 point of view. Process obviously is a set of interrelated and interacting activities which converts inputs into outputs and accomplish specific organizational goal. Scope of a process. Scope of the process defines precisely where a process starts and where it ends, related inputs and outputs, and which activities are included and which are excluded. Supplier of a process. The deliverer of inputs to a process, for example, data, information, goods, services. Supplier may be external, that delivers, for example, for instance, goods or materials, or an internal supplier, that organizational unit which delivers inputs to a particular process. Customer of a process, the receiver of the outputs of a process, same form, data, information, goods, services, product, etc. Inputs, specified requirements needed to be put or invested into a process in order to start the actual process. The inputs will be processed by a process or activity. An output, specified expected or intended result of a process. Risk, combination of the probability of occurrence of not fulfilling process specification or not fulfilling customer requirements. We all deal with risks during our projects. Monitoring of processes, continuous, sequential, and periodic examination of processes and its outputs. Measurement of process, determining a physical measurement of process and their outputs based on actual data. Process owner, an organizational function responsible for a process or sub-process. It could be like human, like actual function. Monitoring of processes, continuous, sequential, and periodic examination of processes and its outputs. Measurement of processes, determine physical measurement of processes and their output based on the data received. Process owner, an organizational function responsible for a process or sub-processes. Applying the process or system approach refers to the act of implementing a method or rules that analyze, identify, manage, and measure the processes of the organization. These processes are necessary for the operation of the quality management standards and the realization of the product. The fundamental goal is to create standardization of processes in your organization and ensure that persons or different organizational units in the organization work in a unified way. Actually creates process standards is mandatory even by project management. The objective of this processes approach are creating awareness in the organization regarding responsibility for managing activities, implementing the identification and planning of activities method needed for QMS operation, define the sequences between the processes, promote smooth and transparent flow of operation in workflow or sub or alternative workflows, identifying and ensuring the interaction between processes and activities in the organization, Ensure accurate delivery of inputs to processes. Monitor and control activities of the QMS. Ensure delivery of the right process outputs. Ensure achievement of intended results and process objectives. Enhance customers' process satisfaction. Create basis and environment for addressing risks and preventing errors. Creating well-known for you PDCA cycle environment for the planning, implementation, and analysis of improvements. Here we apply all known to you models: PEST, PESTEL, PDCA, SWOT.